Do we know what's happening with Connor? Is he being brought down?
Pre-dietary, and then
right,
he'll
we're
be
gonna
brought down.
Holding a pre-dietary
Okay.
hearing for the Connor Carter, Ellis Matt versus Connor Carter. Prosecution, I believe the defense has issued 2 motions to dismiss both cases. Prosecution, defense, you may step forward and plead your case.
Yep. Hello, Your Honour. As for the first case, the motion to dismiss is based on fruit from the poisonous tree. My client was arrested on the grounds of suspicion of another crime. He is not being charged with that crime. He's only being charged with possessions he had on him at the time. However, with the fruit from the poisonous tree doctrine, that would classify that the search would then be illegal, as he's now not being charged with the original crime. Hence why we've put forward this motion to dismiss. It would also breach his Civil Rights Act, Section 2, right to privacy, and the Police Powers Act, Section 1, stop and search.
Mr. Stroker, if he is suspected of a crime that is well within the police's rights to pull him over, that doesn't mean they have to charge him with the crime they suspect him of.
The fruit from the poisonous tree doctrine does.
Sorry, is that in the penal codes of Los Santos?
No, that is in legal teachings, Your Honour.
Yes, but it's not in Los Santos legal codes, is it?
My story to you here, Mr. Stroker, is they've pulled him over on suspicion of a crime. Doesn't mean that they're going to arrest him for that crime. The reason that they've suspected him for a crime is I'm unsure, but that doesn't make the arrest illegal. It gives them more than enough suspicion on grounds to search him under Section 1. I'll speak to prosecution in terms of what their defense is for this, but that's just my standpoint on that. Anything else?
With the suspicion as well, there was no warrant in place to arrest the client for it. It was just based on a suspicion from a few hours ago of a crime, and if the officer had known who the suspect was, a arrest warrant should have been placed, as there was no crimes related to driving offences noted for the initial stop and search either.
We've already discussed that the stop and search was due to the fact he was suspected of another crime.
Yes, and if he's suspected of a crime, then an arrest warrant should be placed.
Not necessarily, no. In terms of a warrant, if it is for an arrest, it has to be over 60 months for a judge to sign and search for a warrant. If it's under 60 months, then the police are well within their rights to place a bolo or a warrant themselves. That's the standing of Los Santos. In terms of suspicion of a crime, they don't have to be arrested for a crime to be suspected of it. It's the police's investigational rights. That being said, you may rest and prosecution may step forward with your case.
Thank you, Your Honour. Mr. Carter was detained for purpose of a conversation with police officers, but on entering the police station he was obviously searched and he was found in possession of a Class 1 substance. To wit, 25 grams of methamphetamine, Your Honour.
What was the crime he was previously suspected of?
Hostage taken, I believe, Your Honour.
And what was the reason he was not arrested for that?
Unsatisfactory evidence, Your Honour.
But there was reasonable suspicion to believe that he could have been part of it.
Yes.
And that would have been the reason for the stop and search?
Yes, Your Honour, and it wasn't an arrest warrant, it was a lookout request that was placed by the police department.
So a bolo.
Yes.
Okay, you may be seated. Defence, do you have any other arguments?
Yes, Your Honour. Yes, Your Honour. The bolo is not in evidence for the reasons for arrest, apart from just a suspicion claim in one individual's statement.
A bolo doesn't need to be submitted as evidence. It's a bolo. It's an internal lookout. It's not a legal document.
Yes, however, if someone has grounds for arrest, then if that arrest is challenged, they should be able to provide the bolo in court.
Prosecution. Any-
Negative, Your Honour. Police Department submitted every lookout request. We'd be here from now until next year.
Any other arguments, defense?
Not at this time, Your Honour.
Okay, you may be seated. Let me just review the case. Just so I'm clear, Mr. Stroker, you're trying to get a whole case dismissed on what exactly?
The fruit from the poisonous tree doctrine itself states that if yes, well, right. So yes, there was grounds for the stop and search. However, the grounds for the stop and search has now been null and voided because they have not got the evidence to push those charges, meaning any evidence collected through that stop and search would now be invalid in courts or inadmissible due to the poisonous tree fruit from the poisonous tree doctrine.
No, so the fruit from the poisonous tree doctrine, just so that we're all clear, is is a legal bias in which evidence can be classed as inadmissible due to an illegal stop and search. The stop and search was not illegal.
Yes, however, if charges came from that stop and search, they would be able to then use the crime, the evidence that they collected in that stop and search against him. However,
Yes.
because there is no crimes connected to the original stop and search, any evidence collected on the arrest would now be unlawful because that arrest is now technically unlawful because he's now not being charged with that.
But that's not an unlawful arrest. Just because they decided not to charge him doesn't make it unlawful.
Yes, but any evidence collected thereafter would be fruit from the poisonous tree.
No. They had reason to stop and search him. And that was a reason that they suspected him of a crime. Just because they haven't then arrested him for that crime doesn't mean that that is illegal.
That is literally the fruit from the poisonous tree doctrine, Your Honour.
No. The poisonous tree is that if the evidence is obtained illegally, this wasn't illegally. They obtained it legally. They had reason to stop and search him.
Yes, however, because
that
no
doesn't
crimes
make
are
it
coming
illegal.
from...
If they had reason, that is not illegal. Just because they've then decided not to charge him with the crime they suspected of him previously doesn't make it then illegal.
That is literally what the fruit from the poisonous tree doctrine is, Your Honour.
No. I think you're very heavily misunderstanding that doctrine. That doctrine says that only evidence that is deemed illegally obtained. This has not been illegally obtained, is what I'm trying to tell you.
If someone's been arrested on suspicion of a crime, that crime has then no hold on any charges. Any evidence collected for that on arrest of that previous crime is then inadmissible under the fruit from the poisonous tree.
Okay, so I'm going to use a big metaphor here, Mr. Stroker. If I think that I need to go to the toilet, but on my way to the toilet, the door rings, and I go to the door, that then doesn't mean that I don't need the toilet still. I still need the toilet. I'm just going to avoid it until I can go to the door. What you're trying to tell me is that it's illegally obtained because they didn't arrest him for the charges they suspected him of. That doesn't make it an illegal search. They had reasonable grounds to search him.
Yes, I get that they had grounds to search. However, those grounds to search was null and voided when they didn't press charges for that crime.
Your Honour, for a Section 1 stop and search to be carried out, there only needs to be suspicion of a crime.
Yes, this is what I'm trying to tell Mr. Stroker. I don't think he quite grasps that just because they've not arrested him doesn't make it an illegal search. Let me just get this clear. There's only 2 charges that Mr. Carter's facing, correct?
I was only told one
charge
charge,
in
Your
this
Honour.
case, Your Honour.
1 charge in this case,
Yes, possession of a controlled substance, level 1.
which was obtained through a stop and search, which they did because they suspected him of a crime previously.
Yes, Your Honour.
The trial will go ahead. The evidence will be classed as admissible.
What's happening? Sorry,
Right,
am I a
calling the case
witness?
of Alice Matt versus Connor Carter.
Hurry up, Connor Carter!
Stop shouting. Oh,
Mr. McHenry, prosecution, you step forward with your opening statement, present any.
Jesus
and
Christ, I've just sat down. Your Honour, the evidence will show
Apologies,
that the
I'll stay
defendant, Connor Carter, was in possession of a controlled substance classified as Schedule 1 drug. The substance deemed highly dangerous without an accepted medical use. Law enforcement found this substance during a lawful search and is confirmed to be methamphetamine. Mr. Carter's possession of this drug was neither accidental nor justified. The charge of possession of an illegal substance, Schedule 1, should be found guilty.
Thank you very much. Defense, should we step forward with your opening statement?
Hello, Your Honour. This is a case of possible mistaken identity. My client was arrested for possible on suspicion of other crimes. However, like we said in the pre-dietary hearing, those crimes are not being charged with. And upon the search, found some item. Apparently, upon search, found some items on my client's person.
Thank you very much. Prosecution, do you have any witnesses or evidence you wish to submit?
No, Your Honour, all evidence is included within the MDT, which shows the methamphetamine from Mr. Carter's pockets.
Thank you very much. Defense, do you have any witnesses or statements you wish to enter into evidence?
No, Your Honour, but can I point to there's no evidence stating that my client was searched by any of the officers involved. Just the substances apparently were found on him, his person, in evidence.
They've got meth, I think. That's what it is, mate.
Ho ho!
Prosecution, do we know who the arresting officer was or who searched Mr. Carter?
Yes, it was Officer Sean Carter.
Is Mr. Carter here in court today?
No, he is not, Your Honour.
Right.
For the record, Mr. Carter is currently in a coma.
Your Honour, Mr. Carter is currently in a coma in pillbox.
Right. Was it? Well, I'm assuming it's afterwards, but did he not have time to finish his statement, or?
Unsure, Your Honour. I've just been told that he's in a coma.
Right. Okay. Defense, you may rest.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho,
So
ho.
because no one stated they've searched you, they've just got evidence that you have
Mr.
apparently had
Carter,
it
if
on.
you could stand, please.
Middle one.
It should be good.
Judge.
Middle.
Mr. Carter, due to the insufficient evidence of who searched you and what was received from your pockets, you
What'd you
find
say?
not guilty of the possession of controlled substance level 1. Please remain in the courtroom for your next trial.
Thank you, Your Honour.
Banging it. Wow, he's triggering me.
It's your seat.
We'll call the
Yeah,
pre-trial
sorry.
for the second one.
Does
Prosecution and defense, I will believe there's a motion to dismiss. Defense, you can step forward and provide
Stim
your
guards down, mate.
motion.
You're fucking it.
So
up to that dog?
the reason why I'm asking for this motion to dismiss was I was asked to the cells yesterday for
No
Mr.
dashing,
Carter
no dancing,
being
no
an
prancing, vixen, no comment.
Can we please remain quiet in the courtroom or you will be held in contempt?
Can I go ahead?
Go for it.
That Mr. Carter was arrested because his brother was trying to break him out. Mr. McCarthy had stated in the evidence, stated in his statement that there was a arrest warrant for for Mr. Carter's arrest, but yet hasn't proved any evidence of that arrest. The police statements and evidence show no proof of vandalism, which is stated that he had caused. And the police statement shows that Mr. Connor Carter's brother was the one who unsuccessfully attempted to break Mr. Carter out of custody, and by doing so was the aggressor in any escaping custody and taking hostage charges.
Can we remove whoever that is, please, from the courtroom? Thank you.
Your Honour, it's worth pointing out at this point, charges have been refined since I've taken on the case.
Yeah, that's fine. Just whoever the PD officers are in the public gallery, can we remove whoever's being an absolute idiot, please? Thank you. So the current charges that he faces will be resisting arrest, evading police, reckless driving, and vandalism of government property.
Where'd
Which
my elf
charges
go?
that you wish to contest?
The vandalism, escaping custody, and evading police.
The escaping custody has been removed.
Okay, so can you repeat those again, please?
Resisting arrest, evading police, reckless driving, and vandalism of government property.
The vandalism, evading police, and the arrest. I can't say it, but that one, the rest one.
Resisting arrest.
Yeah.
That's the one. So you're literally
no
only going to
phone.
be looking
no
to
phones in the
continue
court.
with reckless driving.
Yes.
Stand by. Prosecution, what's your defence for this?
Your Honour, as quoted in statements, he did resist arrest to the point where he broke cuffs of one of the police officers, hence the vandalism of government property. He did recklessly drive, as stated in the statements, and he evaded from police by driving away from them.
May I also point out that people have broke cuffs before, and never have they ever been charged with vandalism of government property.
I would
Or
also like
breaking
to point,
cuffs.
I would also like to point out that these physically broke the handcuffs.
Can you chop me some 4G? My
It
data's
wasn't just a
out.
case of slipping cuffs. He
But then
broke them.
also, can I also point out then it should be also on the PD side to see how durable
only
these
get
handcuffs
500
are. Maybe they were past their one date or something.
That's not a subject to this hearing.
Right. So, again, this is another motion that confuses me. You're looking to push a motion to dismiss under what grounds?
The fact that most of the charges are due to his brother trying to break him out of PD cells.
You are hearing what you're saying, though, right? His brother broke him out of custody.
Tried to.
Your Honour,
attempted.
if I may,
Mr. Stroker, are you the defence?
I'm
Yeah, he's co-counsel
co-counsel.
with me.
Your Honour, this wasn't submitted that there was 2 counsellors.
I will say this.
We're
if we're
both
gonna
in the
have some-
docket.
if we're gonna have
Yes, for
someone
2
try and-
separate cases.
Listen, I'm speaking. If we're going to have someone motion for a dismissal, one person speaks on behalf of the defence. That is it. Who is that going to be?
Do you want to take it, Stroker?
You can go ahead.
All right.
Okay, so you've, as I said, you've literally stated his brother broke or tried to break him out of custody.
Your dick.
Yes, Your Honour.
So
He's being charged with vandalism and that, but
This
vandalism is stated like if he was like, in my knowledge of vandalism, is if they were to destroy a proper public
message her
or
either.
a government building or a car or something like that, not cuffs.
Intentionally
then
causing
every-
damage to government property, including vehicles owned by public servants or peace officers utilised for their work. Mr. Prosecution, is handcuffs government property?
Yes, Your Honour.
What's the grounds for the motion? Miss Zane.
Sorry, say that again.
I'm not going to text her.
The grounds for the motion.
That half of his charges he's got weren't because of him.
The argument.
They're because his brother tried to break him out of custody. Is that what?
Yes,
Right. So he's still involved.
but he might not have known that was happening. If you get what I'm saying.
I think regardless,
Is-
he's still committing a crime and attempting to escape custody.
It's literally freedom of association, and I can't message her to say it.
Not really, because if his brother's breaking him out and he has no recollection of it, why is he being charged for it?
He's not.
Alright, that's all I have to say.
The trial will go ahead. We'll start in 5 minutes. Right, are
Cool
both parties
competition.
ready?
Yes, Your
Go
Honor.
down.
Yes, Your Honour.
Okay, we'll continue with Ellis Matt versus Connor Carter 2.
Judge, can I just say something? Stroker's going to take over because I'm just having some head issues right now.
Of course. Prosecution, you good with that?
Yeah,
Make
that's fine.
sure McBlain's
You step forward and give your
McClarvey
charges
doesn't
and
leave.
opening statement.
Charges for Mr. Connor Carter, Penal Code 1607, resisting arrest ×1, Penal Code 2028, evading from police ×1, Penal Code 2025, reckless driving ×1, and Penal Code 1506, vandalism of government property ×1. And it's worth mentioning to the court at this stage, Your Honour, that Mr. Connor Carter done these crimes whilst on tag and should be triple time, triple fine.
Can I object to that, Your Honour?
For what reason?
Due to the fact that the previous charges have now been dismissed, which means the reason for tag is now null and void. With the poisonous tree.
It was
Mr. Stroker, I think we really need to get around to discussing what is null and void and what is not. If he is on tag, his condition for tag is that any crimes committed on tag that he is found guilty of will be triple time and triple time, along with returning to PD every 24 to 36 hours to be.
And where are these conditions of his bail listed and written into his evidence, Your Honour?
Right, okay. Court adjourns. Mr. Stroker and Mr. McKendrick in my chambers, please.
That's interesting.
I'm not going to sit here and argue with two people that seem to use information that is not discussed within the law book of Los Santos. That is the things that we follow. We've discussed this in a meeting the other day, and I'm going to be bringing this into a meeting up there as well. This is disgraceful, and it needs to stop now. We go with what's written in the law book. Everyone understands?
I don't know why you're saying you two, Your Honour. I never done that.
I'm trying to generalize without targeting at people.
Can I just rebuttal to that 1 second, Your Honour?
Mr. Stroker, yeah.
With the conditions of bail, they state they have to be written in their MDT. And that is in the police SOPs, which we have access to through our emails.
It may be police SOP, but it's not law.
Who placed the tag on Mr. Carter? Or who ordered it anyway?
It would have been you from the first hearing.
And he was told right there and then, if he was to commit crime, it would be 30. Every time I place someone on tag, I tell them the conditions. He's aware of the conditions. So telling me that it's null and void because his previous charges were dropped is inexistent. And it's not even an arguable statement. When he's placed on tag, he's told his conditions, and if he fails to comply with them, then he has to suffer the consequences if he's found guilty.
Which at the time, the only things that were given verbally was he had to come back every 24 hours to 36 to recharge.
No. We're going to continue with trial. We're not arguing his conditions of bail until the sentencing, okay?
She fucking told you.
Let's just say they may have screwed up with
Apologies,
bail
court
conditions.
resumed. Please continue with your opening statement, Mr. McHenry.
Thank you, Your Honour. The evidence in this case will show that the defendant knowingly broke the law, endangered lives, and damaging public property. He resisted lawful commands, recklessly fled from police in a dangerous pursuit, and vandalised government-issued handcuffs. Through witness testimony and the evidence submitted within the MDT, you will see a clear pattern for the defendant's actions. These were not mistakes, they were deliberate acts, and we ask you to hold the defendant accountable for his reckless and unlawful behaviour. Thank you.
Defense, you may approach with your opening statement.
Hello, Your Honour. Yes, so I don't really have much of an open statement because I didn't prepare myself for this case as I was only co-counsel. However, I believe this would be a breach of Civil Rights Act, Section 4, right to a fair trial, as charges have been amended without a motion to the court to amend charges. As well as, obviously, some of these things that we have been trying to defend have now been changed and altered due to the fact that charges have been amended. As well as obviously the freedom of association for crimes that we were originally told he was being charged with, being the grounds for the motion to dismiss that you obviously passed on. Anyway, so yeah, this case is much of the police just trying to get someone at the moment, I believe. So I'm sorry, Your Honour, I don't know what else to say from my opening statement.
Defense, you may rest. Prosecution, do you have any statements or witnesses you wish to bring to the stand?
Yes, Detective Constable McCarthy.
Mr. McCarthy, if you could approach the stand, please.
Fucking prick.
What do you mean? McCarthy's a great guy.
Sorry, love. My apologies. Excuse me. Thank you.
He's a
prick, mate. He is a prick.
Mr. McCarthy, if you could repeat after me. I do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare
What's she doing?
that the evidence I shall give
Your Honour, we cannot hear him.
That the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Please make sure you're shouting. Prosecution, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honour. Detective Constable McCarthy, can you describe how you became involved in this case?
So I became involved by Mr. Carter approached me to request his car out of our police impound, to which I then looked upon his record and found he had or got told by a member of the police that he had an outstanding warrant for his arrest.
We're stuck here.
Thank you. How did the defendant respond to you?
He was fairly uncooperative. He we told him he had was requesting a custody, and thus we tried to apprehend.
Please wait there. Ms. Romanov, if you continue to take photos in the courtroom, you'll be held in contempt. Please put your phone away. Continue, Mr. McCarthy.
No worries. He was quite uncooperative. He resisted many times, broke out of cuffs, and was our attempts to tackle and places Mr. Carter in cuffs.
Thank you. And once the pursuit ended, what happened when you attempted to take the defendant into custody?
He was still very uncooperative. He still resisted arrest. He never seemed like he wanted to go into custody. It never seemed that he was compliant anyway.
Thank you. And can you detail how the defendant resisted arrest?
He broke out of cuffs. He continued fleeing when multiple officers had told him to not so. He also, when we tried tackling him, he tried to get into vehicles. It's quite a long-winded process. He never came as a compliant individual.
Thank you. In your professional opinion, did the defendant's actions demonstrate reckless or an attempt to evade law enforcement?
I believe so, yes.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honour.
Thank you very much. Defense, you may cross-examine.
Hello, Mr. McCarthy.
Hello.
What was the grounds for the warrant?
I've got told by a fellow officer that he fled from another scene originally.
So the grounds for the warrant was a verbal one.
From my information from my fellow officer, I do recall.
And what was the grounds for this warrant?
Fleeing from a scene, I believe so.
Yeah, no further questions, Your Honour.
Thank you very much. Defense, you may rest. Mr. McCarthy, you may take a seat.
I think we've cooked him because he said it was a verbal warrant, not a written warrant.
Yeah.
Prosecution, do you have any further witnesses?
No, Your Honour, due to personal circumstances, none of the rest could be here.
No worries. Defense, do you have any witnesses you wish to take the stand?
No, Your Honour.
Okay, prosecution, you may approach with your closing statement.
Thank you, Your Honour. You've seen the evidence in the MDT, a dangerous pursuit, the defendant's refusal to comply with officers, and the destruction of government property. The law is clear, and the defendant's actions violated it at every turn. His choices endangered the public, disrespected law enforcement, and caused unnecessary damage. We ask you to return a verdict of guilty in all charges to ensure justice is served.
Thank you very much. Defense, you may approach with your closing statement.
Hello, Your Honour. I just need a second to look at my notes.
All good.
Okay. So yes. So like I've stated in my opening statement, this is could be classified as a Civil Rights Act violation or right to a fair trial with the changes of the charges. However, as you just heard from the witness, this was a verbal warrant, not a written warrant, which is not a warrant in law, making any further actions of my client in aids to get a flee possibly inadmissible, Your Honour. And I will leave that for yourself and the courts to decide.
Thank you. You may rest. Prosecution, can I just ask confirmation on the warrant that was placed for Mr. Carter? Was it, again, an internal lookout, or was it a warrant?
It would be a lookout request, Your Honour. No arrest warrant was issued by this court.
Thank you very much. The court will be suspended in 2 minutes whilst I deliberate. Okay, Ellis Matt versus Connor Carter. We have resumed. Mr. Carter, if you could step forward, please.
Same to the middle again.
Mr. Carter, Penal Code 1607, the court will find you guilty. Penal Code 2028, evading police, the court will find you guilty. Penal Code 2025, reckless driving, the court will find you guilty. Penal Code 1506, vandalism of government property, the court will find you not guilty. Due to this, you will be sentenced to 18 months and a £1,650 fine. Case closed.
Brad, don't you all me?
Your Honour, are we able to possibly get time served, as he has been in prison for 400 months at the moment?
Oh, in that case, absolutely, yes. It'll just be the fine.
Thank you, Your Honour.
Oh, yeah, but he's already served time.